Sweet.
Hey,
Here
Jen.
we are. Well, hello.
Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
sorry,
Hey, how's
it's
it
Monday
going?
night at 8:15.
Here we are to have this like great little conversation we're about to have. We're just about to kind of just chat it up,
Sounds good.
which is great. So yeah, and this is one of the things that I have brought to the table is that, and it's interesting that I just had this moment, um, prior to you hitting the record button, we're like freely chatting it up, whatever, conversating, and you hit the record button and I'm like, my mind kind of goes blank. And that's not normal necessarily for me, but I sometimes do end up at a loss for words, which ends up being where I put in those filler words that you're so good about not utilizing.
Do you feel like that's getting better, less of them?
It's getting better. It's getting better because I have a conscious awareness around it.
Mhm.
And I'm also pausing and allowing the silence and learning how to embrace the silence in between thoughts to what I want to say and not being okay, which is interesting.
Yeah, I didn't always pause, and I would find myself talking over people a lot, especially if they're elderly, because they pause a lot in between what they say. And it's really just that they collect thoughts differently and at a different pace than we do at our age. So I guess a lot of time with elderly people has helped me be quiet for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just right. No, I like it. And I think a lot of people are uncomfortable in the silence, or so I've noticed, including myself. Not so much so, but in terms of when I feel like the spotlight's on me and I'm sharing something, that's when.
There's this idea that if you're going to be on camera or your voice is going to be heard, that you've got to constantly be delivering something of value. And that's not true. I think as a human being who's embodied our meat suit, being here and being alive is what's of value. And it doesn't have to be profound, every single word that comes out of your mouth.
I freaking love that. I
Do you
mean,
know what I mean? Like
well,
that is actually, so many times you can just be around somebody and that's what you feel. Is you feel them, their energy. It's not that only things that you're interested in are what words will they say. So I guess I wouldn't worry about like when the camera's on. You being you, fully embodied in you, is like, that itself is a gift. It doesn't have to be magical. It doesn't have to be wise. It doesn't have to be always impacting somebody.
yeah, that's a really good point. I love that you said that, because I think that when I'm making a video or making those attempts,
Mm-hmm.
it's different. And, I just want to feel like I always feel when I'm sitting in a room of Alcoholics Anonymous and just sharing.
Yeah, yeah. I really wish I could sit in on those rooms. I don't know if it's.
Oh, you can come to an open meeting.
Oh my gosh.
You can
I've
come.
gone to the Al-Anon before.
No, AA is
Sure,
different.
it's different. Yeah.
Yeah, it is different. And it would be cool for you to come to like one of the women's groups that I go to. The women's groups that I go to are really awesome groups of women, and there's a lot of diversity in there. But you could come as, sometimes people come with other people and they'll introduce themselves, because you go around the room and introduce yourself and they'll go around and say, well, I'm a friend of hers, or I'm here to support so and so, or stuff like that. So yeah, no, it's an option. You should come. And you could also say that you're a teacher of life, and it's part of your, no, you don't have to say anything. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I am
No,
a teacher.
I'm a teacher of life, and I would love to do this into my process. No, but you know what though? I'm just saying that because sometimes people do come from, you know, the U of M
Mhm.
because they're studying psychology relative to, you know, so they're trying to understand the addict and alcoholic. And that's a, you know, difficult thing when you're not actually one. There's a tremendous disconnect that can never be, unfortunately.
Mhm.
It really is. But, you know, I think it's like anything in life, you can always have better resources, better, you know, education, better information, better forms of intervention to help those that suffer. So
Mhm.
I think it's great. People that, you know, want to at least be open-minded to understanding that, because I know it's a tough one. You
Well,
know,
and we're surrounded by people in different levels of addiction all the time, and to have some compassion about it would be really a great tool. And also knowing, like, at what point that you are no longer able to help that person if it's someone close in your life and that they need outside help. So when you're in those rooms, why do you feel different than in this scenario? When
yeah,
you-
like when I'm like recording, because not necessarily talking to you, I think
yeah.
that's something that is very natural between us, and we have these amazing conversations that are very powerful. I would have to say I'm trying to pinpoint it, to be honest with you. Like, what would be the difference in terms of why I would feel any different, you know, picking up the phone, doing a short little reel, you know,
Mhm.
versus, you know, sharing some little profound snippet versus sitting in a room of Alcoholics Anonymous where I'm just, you know, what I probably would have to say is that I've been doing it for 11 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, that really is part of it though, I think, because this is what we talk about, how the magic happens in the unknown. But when you're in the unknown, it really is unknown, you
Mhm.
know, and it's something that you just don't automatically go, oh, this is the unknown. It feels so great. I want to come here every day. As a matter of fact, with the unknown, I'm like, F this shit. That's mostly how I think with doing this Instagram stuff. Like, because I'm, you know, let me say, you know, I am an addiction coach, and I am committed to walking out and fulfilling the dream of reaching and touching many, many souls. And with that, I'm doing all this stuff that I don't even know how to do. And it's all different. And I'm, you know, out of sorts. And that's not something that's comfortable, especially for an addict and an alcoholic, because we don't like pain.
Well, I was just thinking about that, the level of suffering that both you and I could say we've already experienced. And there are times with my level of privacy I want to have where I revert back to my safety, which is just my bubble, stay away,
Yep.
and also not making myself intentionally uncomfortable. So to come out of my bubble and stand out on the street is like, wow, this is really, really, like you said, different, feels risky. Immediately you could feel like you're going to be judged. I did some things that were really, thought would be really crushing to me. It turned out like I thought as far as that person's reaction, but my response to all of it was different than I thought. Example, my brother Mark, he and his wife Lori have met in high school, I think, or junior high actually. So they've been sweethearts since forever. You know my path. I mean, it's littered with men. Okay.
Yep.
And it's not been a smooth road. I've done everything wrong, but I'm happy. And I sent my podcast to Mark, the one with Sigrid, because Mark's got the child, Alex, who has transitioned. Not a word, not one word. I sent to him
He didn't respond?
one fucking word. So
You're kidding me.
No, Jen. I sent it to him and I just said, heads up, I wanted to let you know this is being released in January. Not a word.
What?
And so for me, the old me would have been like, that in itself would have been crushing. But honestly, I so don't give a fuck. And you know what's great about it? It's helping me get comfortable with that.
Exactly.
Had he been like, oh my God, this is so great, then I wouldn't have ever even experienced the discomfort.
That's 100%. I freaking love that. And I truly believe that when we're endeavoring and talking about the things that we're talking about in terms of authenticity and genuineness, I believe that, and this is something that they say in the business breakthrough that I'm taking right now, but you know, the whole fuck it up and figure it out. And, you know, that to me creates such a deep, maybe just an even little deeper level of training, deeper level of knowing. I don't even know. It just seems like when you fuck something up and then you're left to figure it out, you're left with all those uncomfortable feelings. You're left with, you know, whatever thoughts you're dealing with in your head. But these are all good things, because when you start looking at them and you start realizing and you start moving past them, it's like, then you grow. That's how you grow. It's like how you freaking grow.
And when we think about what we're both doing and telling people about it, it's not the strangers. It's not the people we don't know that we're anxious about. It's the ones in our inner circle. So how much closer can I get than my brother who didn't say a fucking word? So I've already gone to the hole and I climbed out and I somehow survived. And I'm still happy. He didn't crush my soul. He didn't break my dream.
So you know what? That's really, really good, because it's exactly that. It's exactly that, because Lulu posted that. I had no idea she was going to go and just take it upon herself and post that on Facebook and then tag me in it.
Oh.
I was like,
you can remove the tag, but don't.
No, I wouldn't, because I'm trying to grow and I'm trying to just embrace and allow and let things be how they are and let them unfold and embrace the process. And so when I told you about it, I felt like you had like the best response. You're like, well, actually, we're not, you know, looking to be YouTubers and podcasters with secret channels. I was like, okay, that's some shit right there. That's some shit right there.
Know about it. And you can know about it, but not these people.
I'm like, oh God, I want the secret channel so that I don't have to be
a secret lover.
Yeah, right. So I don't have to take.
No, but I think what it did for me, reality is those are the people that you are the most worried about. There's the ones that you love and that are close to you and could judge you because they know you. And so when they do, and that's his response, nothing is a response. It's great. I'm already over it.
Nothing is a response. You're absolutely 100% right. As a matter of fact, it speaks pretty loud.
It's a really loud response.
It is a really loud response.
Clear. I don't have to read through any bullshit. It was clear. Tonight, Taylor called from New York, and I was telling him about it, that what we're doing tonight, and every Wednesday, Thursday, I'm doing interviews. And he is actually the subject of a podcast in New York. This girl he dated for a hot minute has got one of the #1 podcasts from that group of people living there in Manhattan. And so he's been talked about on the podcast a few times. I sent him my little clip and the art, and he's like, freaking love the art, you know. So
did he love it? You showed him
so there's someone that I really like. The most important people are going to be my children, and if they don't approve, it's okay. If they're not jumping up and down and saying this is the best, go mom, it's okay.
Right. no, and they love us and they're going to support us. I think that's what love is, though. When, someone can just allow someone to be and figure it out and do and support and, be a cheerleader. I mean, there's just there is no, I mean, there always is a place and a time for constructive criticism, but I just feel like there's no, if we're going to get into like talking about the law of attraction, right? You're not going to focus on the negative and you're not going to speak about what isn't working. You're going to speak about what is working, because the more you focus on something, the more it manifests.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like in anything that you set out to do, there's always going to be the things that aren't working and the stuff that is. And I mean, yeah, you have to maybe have some awareness, but it's like, I'm just not interested, and I think that there are going to be people who are going to say what they're going to say and do what they're going to do. That's going to happen. The more exposure you get and the more you grow, like I remember Brene Brown sharing when her first, I think it was a TED Talk, went viral or something of that nature. And her husband told her, he said, whatever you do, don't look at the comments.
Mm-hmm.
And what did she do? She looked at the comments and they were all about her. People attacked her personally. They're like, oh, your glasses were the dumbest thing I'd ever seen. And your hair is so ugly. And, I'm just saying like that, right? They attacked her personally, which, trust me, that's something that, I'm not a fan of that. I don't know if you are, but I'm not.
No, not at all. But there's one thing I know. There's one thing worse than people talking about you.
What?
People never talking about you.
Oh my God. That's actually pretty fucking beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That is actually beautiful, because you know what? Yeah, get on there and just say what you're going to say. And like, oh, you guys talk your smack. That's a really good point, Kim.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually really, really profound. And I actually love that. Pretty darn cool.
The other thing is, most people, like if you are on top of their mind for a moment, it is just a moment. Most people are not thinking about you. They're thinking about their own lives.
Yeah, it's true.
Our friend A used to get very caught up in that. Oh my God, what is so-and-so thinking? I'm like, are you serious? You really think that they spend that much time obsessing over you? They don't.
No.
They don't. Mm-mm.
No, most people are thinking about themselves and their own lives. That's very, very true.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It is very, very, very true.
Mm-hmm.
It is very true. But some of us do touch the souls of others. What was the word you used? How it starts with an L.
Limerence.
Limerence. Thank you.
Limerence is kind of a negative thing. It's an obsession.
Oh no, is it? Okay, well,
It's wrapped up in the belief that it's love. So it might have been something else.
Oh, well, let's not go there then.
We're not aiming for that.
No obsession.
No.
Hell no. Oh man.
When you are interviewing, I feel like we should practice.
Yeah.
So maybe just even until it becomes second nature, write out who, what, where, when, and why.
What, where, when, and why?
Yep.
Let me write this down. When and why. So when you talk about who, what would be like what are we talking about when we say who? Like who?
Jen, who might be one of the most influential people in your life that has inspired you to want to do this for a living?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah. who would you say, who would be someone that you really have listened to or seen that has touched you and compelled you to want to be in this space, helping other people?
Well, I mean, it's no secret. You've been huge and instrumental in my life in terms of, really, uncovering and helping me transform and walk out and connect to my inner self in regards to, this venture that I'm very passionate about and want to live out. I think there's been people, random people, which are God people. When somebody's random and they come through, they pass through your life, it's a God thing, I believe. And that's happened a lot in Alcoholics Anonymous in the rooms of, AA. But those people have been primarily mostly just kind of seasonal,
Yeah.
and come and go, basically, whether it's, I see them regularly at a meeting or I see them here and there.
So when you are eventually coaching, mentoring, what would be your ideal situation? Do you want to be one-on-one or group settings, or how do you see that?
Yeah, I think I see both, actually. I think initially what I'm envisioning is one-on-ones, and then, really reaching more the extended families and people in general who have been touched or impacted in some way, shape, or form by drug addiction and alcoholism, and whatever that looks like, and helping them in whatever way, shape, or form, probably really trying to identify the pain, whatever that is, because that can vary from person to person.
Sure.
And
So
who knows?
where do you see your coaching business in the next year or 2 years? Let's just say 2.
In the next 2 years, I see my YouTube channel videos going viral. I see, a regular clientele on a regular basis, day in and day out, that I'm, helping. I see people changing and transforming, and I see people referring people, because there's going to be, because I think that as I step into this and as I continue to grow, I'm going to develop my own style. There's going to be a uniqueness. There's going to be, I love the word you use, superpower, because I think we all kind of have our own little superpower.
You do. Mm-hmm.
And it's real specific to who we are and our point and our purpose for being on this earth.
Yeah.
And I think that's just gonna freaking unfold and be like, people are gonna be like, I know who you need to go see.
Yeah. Yep. Why would this time in your life be the right time to do this?
I'm ready, because I think there's no better time than today. No one's promised tomorrow, and yesterday's gone. So we all know that, living in the day, living in the moment, seizing, carpe diem, seize the day.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I have a whole life that I've lived of lessons, and, I know you like to call them courses that we take, and they are courses, because some of those courses are long ass fucking courses that just, and those long ass courses, really what they are is those patterns in our lives that we keep fucking repeating until we learn it. And then we're like, we graduated.
Yeah.
And then there's so much power behind that to, really help others. And so it's not just, being an adult child of an alcoholic family system. It's that, growing up in, dire situations and surviving in extreme circumstances. God bless and forgive my family system, but they were what they were, and they are what they are, and it is what it is. And I survived it. And then having my own disease of alcoholism and drug addiction, which took me out
Mhm.
The first go around was bad enough, and then I went back out for a second go around, and then there's a whole story around that, and then uh burying my son to a heroin overdose at the age of 23 years old, and surviving that and the process. So that's another whole set of lessons. You can either roll over and die, and literally, I mean, it can take you out, that type of lesson or experience in life that you go through. Or, you know, you find your way through the grief and the pain and the hurt and the loss and the agony. And that doesn't happen. He died in 2011. So it's been a lot of years of going through that. And grief and loss, grief has no timeline. But I will say this, man, the most powerful thing as a result of weathering that course is that today, the way that I get to live with my son, literally live with my son, I live with that boy. He is not dead to me, because I know we talk about how we're spirit beings first,
Mhm.
and he is not dead to me. And you couldn't have convinced me of that, 5 years ago, 8 years ago, in 2011 when he died. You couldn't have convinced me of that. I was so grief stricken. You go into shock. But I'm telling you, it's the most beautiful thing, because I really walk a free person today and very happy. And that's counterintuitive to burying a child. So yeah, I think that was your why. Answer your
Absolutely.
long ass answer to your
Oh,
why.
thank you for all of that. Um, with everything you've learned in the last couple of years, what's your biggest paradigm shift? What thing do you see completely differently than you did before?
Wow. Well, that's a really good question. I mean, the first thing that literally comes to mind is my relationship with God. And talking about freedom, I know now that I endeavored on a personal relationship with God for a point and a purpose, because I rejected and I rebelled against a lot of the traditions of the church, the pressures, all the things that, I mean, I just wasn't going to co-sign. I was like, that doesn't sit right with me. I'm not doing that. I'm not agreeing with that. And then I really spent a lot of time reading the Word of God, which developed a very strong spiritual connection for me with God, which was very personal. And okay, so breaking free from the church in such a way has led me to a place to open my mind. Which, let me tell you this, for Christians and the Christian community, that would be like a taboo.
Oh, I know. I
That would
wrestled
be
with it.
like, open your mind to what? You're going to open your mind up to the spiritual realm of the devil and all that, all the evil is going to come in and captivate your mind, and all this stuff that, like, today, if I would have said however, when I was ever active in the church, if I would have talked about meditation, they would have been like,
Oh,
that circle, it would have been like, you would have been ostracized. Like, you're a Christian. How can you call yourself a Christian and you want to meditate? It's like, and today I am like, what?
direct.
I have been missing out. Yes. Yes. I had been literally missing out on such a powerful thing between, for me, it is me and God. And for anyone else, it can be whatever today it's like, I don't even, it's so beautiful. Like, I don't want to judge a single person, not one. And I'm not even trying to judge the Christian community. I'm just saying that when you talked about a paradigm shift, that would probably be my most distinct.
Mhm. So for me, what I just want you to see is that conversation was who, what, why, where, when, and how.
I got that. I saw how you went down the little list.
Yeah.
That was very good. That was
And when I'm meeting with seniors, they're super excited to talk to someone because most people kind of stop speaking to them. There's a language barrier when they can't hear you very well. It gets frustrating to yelling at them all the time, but the ones who can hear. and you start asking questions and you start really digging into who they are and what moves them, it's shocking, like how much they open up. I've had that exact scenario where the daughter, who's the one who set up the appointment and was there with her 90-year-old mother, she would walk out with me and say, oh my gosh, I forgot how to talk to my mom. She said, I haven't heard her say any of those things that she was telling you or laugh that way or joke in 20 years.
That's amazing. That's freaking amazing. Okay, let me try this out on you because this is new for me to even.
Yeah, you don't have to go in order in any way, but they're just always.
No, but it's just like these are great. If I can have a key word in my mind when I'm interacting with people to help, pull things out of them that will be helpful, to everyone involved.
And the beautiful thing is you can pause. If you need to think of the question,
you
actually can pause because most of us do pause while we're thinking. So
most of us do. There's the silence.
What we got to get really comfortable with is we're just going to be real people. There's not going to be the actress versions. So whether it's recording or not, just be yourself.
Just be myself. Amen, sister. I love it.
Yep.
So on that note, who do you see yourself as? Let me think about this. Okay, we'll come back to that. Okay. So what do you see happening for you in your business over the next year in terms of like, how do you envision this thing?
November or January, the podcast will launch. That will be a place for people to get to know a little bit more about who I am and be comfortable with that first. And then I would love to start doing mentoring. I don't know that I want to do a lot of one-on-one because of the time capacity. I'd rather do it in a group setting. I like the idea of doing lives via Facebook group or just even retreats at the house and having a connection face to face, but not necessarily just one person to one person. So I see that in the next year, and then quitting my job at Homestead Road to be fully engulfed into where my heart lies. That's helping people. Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. Okay, so who was it for you in your life, or just even along the way throughout your life at any given time in your life, that really poured into you, or I can use the word inspired you, but really just came alongside of you, inspired you?
I wish I had a great answer, and I've always been looking for that person. Sadly, in a lot of groups, friend groups that I've been in, I can't say I admire a lot of those people.
Right.
And different friend groups have been introduced by different people. And so along with those people come the type of people they like to be with. Let's just say Stephen, his friend group are wonderful people, but I can't say I would ever look up to one. You're probably one of the closest people I can say that gets me and motivates me, encourages me as a cheerleader. But because of that, I do feel this almost obligation to take what's already happening in my life and make it a little bit more accessible to other people. I have been the go-to person forever. It's not that I couldn't be inspired by someone. It's just I haven't had them personally in my life. So I do a ton of reading, a lot of videos, a lot of podcasts, and listen to people over a period of time to see if it's a real fit for me to continue listening. Quite often I'll start something and then after hearing them 5-6 times, I'm just not really feeling it anymore. If it's salesy in any way, I can't. But so a lot of books and probably a lot of videos.
Oh, great. And I find a lot of inspiration from those very things too.
Mhm,
That's a shift for me.
mhm.
So that's super cool. So where do you see your business in the next 2 years?
2 years for sure, no longer in real estate, not in that way. I would like to be doing retreats elsewhere in beautiful, warm places. Not I would like to, I will be. I will be. Mm.
I'm coming.
Yes,
Oh,
I think, what more perfect way than to go see all the places you want to see in the world and bring a bunch of people who are in the same place who want to be inspired and grow and teach each other. Because we're always mentoring each other. It doesn't always have to be one focus. It's all around.
yeah, that's amazing actually. When you were sharing that, I was envisioning, just groups of women rendezvousing at, tropical paradises. It just,
That ties in with what you were asking about who inspires. And up until now, I haven't put myself in position to be around people who inspire me. I just hired a coach, very first one ever, and I'm thrilled. And I'm really proud because for a while I was kind of believing like, well, I have access to what I need to know. But then there was a shift for me. Like, if I want to know more, that requires going outside of what I already know. And paying for that is a good thing. It's an energy exchange. If that person's going to pour into me all of their wisdom and knowledge that they've acquired so far, there's an exchange for that. It's reciprocity.
actually, I really believe it's huge.
Mhm.
It's a bold move to invest into yourself, but also it speaks to the universe about how serious you are
Yeah.
in terms of really learning outside of yourself. Because I love what you said. I always think I'm so smart, and not that I'm not, but we all, no matter how much, wisdom from God above or from books or knowledge, wisdom and knowledge you have, it's like you still have blind spots.
Oh, for sure.
And
Mhm.
it's funny because, you can see those blind spots and I can't. And I love that. And that's where I think having, an open relationship and freedom to speak freely between, whether it's two people or having an outside coach that you would, give that permission to, whatever. So I love that.
The other piece of it too, Jen, is when you shared your posting on Instagram every day, if you weren't paying for your coach and that thing felt uncomfortable, you wouldn't do it.
I would give up. I would do it. That's perfectly said. And one of the things I'm going to tell you for me has been the most successful key. I would put this key at the top of all keys is consistency in my life.
Mhm.
So with the gym or drinking my green drink or making my protein shake or my little consistent thing. I mean, I'm telling you, there are mornings I get up, I drink these three first thing in the morning, I make these three concoctions that I got going on. It's one's a prebiotic and a probiotic, and one's a gut health thing,
Mhm.
and then the other one is collagen. And I've committed and I'm consistent. But there are mornings I get up and I mean, I tell you, I just bang these things out and I get them done. But there are mornings I get up and I'm like, I just want to skip today. I don't want to do it. And then I just do it and I just do it. And I'm done. I do it. And the consistency thing. And so I would have to say that with the accountability of having a coach and investing in myself, that type of money and the accountability and having that, it's a family and a camaraderie because they do want you to succeed and they're invested in your success as well. but it's an accountability thing, and they're kicking my ass with this accountability thing. It's kicking my ass. I'm like, oh my God, help me. And then, it's like they're very privy to the types of excuses that we make as human beings. Human beings, we like, I'm too
heard that before.
tired. Yeah. It's too much. I can't do it today. I'm too tired. I blah, 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 So it's been pretty cool.
I agree wholeheartedly. And I think it's really cool that it's happening for both of us at the same time. But I want to help you get over the camera thing.
That's something I want to get over. Because you know why? I want to be able to, I can feel when, things just come out of me and are profoundly natural, like natural.
Yeah.
And then natural, and then they're just, they're really cool things. And I see that in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, like regularly and over and over and over, and so I just want to have that same presence for my social media presence. And it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I just got to keep doing this. I'm gonna keep doing this. I mean, posting a freaking post a day. I mean, shit, it's a post a fucking day. It's like not easy. Like some days I'm like, it's 9 o'clock and I still don't know what to post. Oh, let me see if I can come up with something in my phone here. It's like shit.
Are they giving you any kind of feedback, guidance, suggestions on how and when or what to post, or is it just completely?
Yeah, so there's really cool. So I did want to share some of that stuff with you too, because I think you can utilize this as well. It's super freaking cool. Where is on that? Wait, it's here. I want to tell you about this because I think that so this is actually in this video vault stuff.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of Big View.
No.
But it's a place where you can post videos, and then they teach you this thing like how to hook them, like with these little reels. It's like, let me look here. So the other really good resource that they gave me was answerthepublic.com, which is keywords. So you put in a keyword for the data, and it comes up like, because one of the ways that people, I guess social media, it's like also understanding the way social media works is the algorithms.
Yeah.
And we know all of that. We know it, but I don't really know it. Like I don't know what they're, so in this video vault, I'm gonna show you the video, but it's, I guess it's called Big View, and you can take these little reels and you upload them into Big View, and it's really supposed to be like simple in how, I don't know, like I'll show you like what they do. It's pretty cool. I'll show you one on Instagram that this girl does that she uses Big View.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to her page.
So this site can't be reached.
Happy Friday.
See, like she's doing like, when she talks, the words come up like that.
Oh, cool.
So it does that, and then
Just Big View, BIGVIEW.
BIGVU.
Oh, VU. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's one way to like do your videos, or like she did like she like did this one. It's just a view. It's a V. It's a.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. But the other thing that I've done that they told me to do is I went on and I searched for addiction coach
Mhm.
and I found this gal. She's fucking outlandish. She's hilarious as fuck. I found this gal and I followed her because I really like, so really kind of just looking and seeing what you like about what other people do, right?
Right. Yep.
And that's kind of like a common sense no brainer thing, but I'm telling you, when you're held accountable to this stuff though, it's like a different level of like, I'm like, just working my ass off here trying to, I'm trying to find her. Hang on. She's hilarious as shit though. She's sober, but she's like, I'm trying to find her just so I can tell you her name so that you can look at her. You gotta look at her Instagram and look at her reels. Hilarious. And she's like, and it's spot on shit. Like she's like showing pictures when she was drunk and like pictures of when she's sober. And then she's funny as hell the way she like puts a twist on all of it. It's just
Uh-huh.
but what I loved about her is that it's her style. She's finding her own way, and that's what I want. I don't want to be her, but I want my style. I want me to be on the forefront in a way that is like trying to figure out how to see. Okay, let's see.
Have you tried anything on Big View yet?
I haven't even tried it.
Okay.
I haven't even got that far to like upload a video to try it to see. So. Okay, I think I found her. I did. You know what? You'll gain a lot of education by also watching her too. Her name is Abby, ABI dot Feltham, FELTHAM. That's her handle. So it's Abby.
PHAN.
No, it's Abby, ABI dot Felt, F as in Frank, ELTHAM.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, you got it.
That's
Yeah.
on Instagram.
Yep.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I wanted
Yeah,
to do
so she's hilarious as shit, man. And I love her.
You know what I think is really appealing to Jen? I love humor. I think that it's hard for me to listen to someone who's really prim and proper and it all just feels so sweet. I like people who swear. I like funny stuff. Because that's how we talk. Like we're not cursing sailors like April, but we do swear every once in a while. And I like authentic. So when someone's goofy and funny, but still knowledgeable, it really feels much more like I want to hang out with them longer.
I'm like with you on that note. It's 100%, and it's really definitely not going to be the prim and proper, but I'm a realist. I like real talk. I like to, put it straight, and yet, and this girl has like that, she just has that edge to her too. Like, I don't care. She's talking about her pea-soaked mattress, and it's hilarious because I can't tell you how many addicts and alcoholics fucking pee the bed, and that's where it's just like funny as shit because, I mean, it's just she's.
Is that a sign?
But she's showing pictures of her fucking pea-soaked mattress when she was in active addiction and fucking peed the bed all the time, which is what alcoholics do and shit, And
yeah, when I first started dating, you know who,
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, he wet the bed. Yeah, because you're so damn drunk, you can't get, you don't even, you can't, are you kidding me? Like, you're just, it's not even, it is very, very, you know, it's funny. And we do, and I do, and the thing about Alcoholics Anonymous is we laugh a lot about the shit, but it really is a very sad, devastating, debilitating, demoralizing, horrendous beast of a disease. You know, it means to kill everyone who has it. And, you know, whether you're, it's terrible. But, you know, being sober and in recovery has its own challenges, right? It's not all fucking butterflies and roses when you get sober either. You're like, what the fuck? Now I can't drink and I got to deal with this life shit, you know? It's like, no thanks.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's like, fuck life. Hell no. I liked being checked out. It was a good place, but I couldn't, you know, it couldn't, it got too bad. It got too ugly. It got too dark of a world.
Do you
yeah.
have pictures of you? And I'm sure you didn't let a lot of pictures be taken, but do you have some old you,
I
new
have to
you?
dig. Yeah, I have to dig. You know, it's funny that you say that because my kids, you know, I've been sober 11 years and my kids tell me that I look better now, 11 years older than I did back then. And I believe them.
Yeah.
They're like, you know, you look younger, mom, just healthier. You look way better. And I believe them. But yeah, I should dig them up because it might be fun to figure out little reels that I can also put together for, you know, just to show people like, and I mean, I don't know if you know this, but the first time that I got sober, my story is pretty significant and shocking and jaw-dropping. But the first time that I got sober, which was before I had my son Brandon, my oldest son, who passed from the heroin overdose. I had him. I was 19 when I had him, and I got sober the first time when I was 24. But in those years, I had the way that I got sober that last time. I was in the court system as well. I ended up in the court system. I had been really wasted, and I had gone to this bar that I frequented over in Maplewood, and I'd walked in. And I was loaded, and over off at the bar was this broad, this fucking chick that I hadn't seen in a really long time. And she had stole some stuff from me. Did I tell you about this?
No.
She had stole some stuff from me and I was wasted and I beelined it over there. She had this long ass fucking hair down to her butt. I beelined over there and I grabbed her off the bar. I grabbed her by the back of her hair. I grabbed her off the bar stool. And she stood up as I was grabbing her to pull her off by her hair. And she grabbed one of those thick bar glasses and she smashed it over my head. And I was so wasted. So I grabbed her by the hair, pulled her down. I got her on the ground. I was kicking her and my head felt funny. I mean, at that point, here's how I remember it. Cause I remember just like holding her by the hair and kicking her. And my head felt funny. And the second I went like this, like the blood just started gushing. And then the bouncer came running over. I remember he had me in like a bear hug. And then I was hauled off by an ambulance. I ended up with like 42 stitches in my head. And yeah. And I ended up in court in front of the judge. I always describe it as there I am in front of the judge. And then I was on probation and he court ordered me to AA. And that was the best thing he ever did for me because that was the first time I got sober. That's when everything changed. You know, I met my ex-husband, which was really the first time I'd ever really in my entire freaking life met a decent, you know, good man. And to this day, he still is a decent, good man. You know, he really, really is. He loved me like no other man loved me ever. And, you know, the sad moral of that story is I did not stay sober, but I did, you know, go to college and worked as a chemical dependency counselor and stayed sober for a good chunk of time.
How many years, you know?
I had Brandon, got with my ex-husband, then I had my oldest my daughter Taylor, then I had Tommy, and So I worked just 6 years in the industry as a counselor. So I think I stopped counting. I stopped going to AA and I stopped counting my days and sobriety and everything. Pretty much right after that. So it wasn't probably long after that I went back out and started boozing it again. And then, it got pretty bad. It got really, really bad actually. But I didn't have my daughter, Julia, until 2000. I had her in 2000. So, but it was not good. My ex-husband, he spent so much of our relationship trying to rescue me and save me and bail me out of jail, and just cried so many this is all the shit that I had to face in my sobriety because I really blamed him, and I thought he was such an asshole until I could own my own shit and really say, wow, I did all of that. I did all of that to that really, really good man that loved me more than anybody has ever loved me in this entire earth. Kim, it's all the shit that we talk about though. I had absolutely zero love for myself. As a matter of fact, was consumed with inner hatred. I was like the epitome of inner hatred, on the inside. There was no fucking way that I could love anybody, much less receive love or allow love or anything. I mean, it's just a really sad fucking story, which is why, it's like, this is a great thing because I'm going to help so many damn people,
And that's a wrap. Because what you just
right, we're out of here.
What you just did for the last 2 minutes, Jen, you need to take a clip of that, like you're talking to me, and post that. Because someone's going to be like, I know that shit. I know that story. They're either the person on the outside looking in, or they are that person.
I'm going to take a clip of that, girlfriend. No, right? It's like for real. Like it's a real thing. I mean, that's only a snippet of my fucking story. Like I'd stay in those rooms of AA. It's like I've spent my whole entire life in active addiction as opposed to the small little stints of sobriety. I mean, 11 years of sobriety. I mean, it's a good run. This has been a phenomenal run. And I'm trying to run the rest of this race for the rest of my life in such a way, in this same way, but I mean, sure. All the other stuff in between, it's like, people, when I talk, they're like, I mean, one guy, oh my God, people are just like, it doesn't like register, like, what, you did what? Like, yeah, I sure as fuck did. I sure the fuck did.
And I'm still a badass. I'm just not drunk.
Yes. And that's the message. That's the message though, Kim, is that, I think today it's like I've been gifted with being able to truly find myself and the woman that I've always dreamed of and always wanted to be. And that's freaking that. There's no price tag on that. You can't put a price tag on that feeling, that experience, that it's just freaking amazing. So
okay, your cat has to make video debuts because he's from back.
he's discontent. He wants to like go out and kill squirrels and he's a hunter. He's just so discontent. There's nothing I can say to him. I tell him to be quiet. He doesn't listen. That's how cats are.
Oh, poor buddy.
But he has like he has such an atrocious meow. He's like, meow. I can't even mimic it. It's just god awful.
It's hilarious.
I know. And he does it at the most inopportune times. It's like, why do you have to walk around right now? What's the deal? So anyway, I don't know. It's good talk.
Awesome.
Good talk. Crazy.
I love you. I have a tiny bit more work to do before Monday morning.
Okay.
But yeah, just take your little list. the who, the what, the
This
why,
is great.
how.
This has been super, super productive, and it's been great and super helpful.
I'm gonna send you the video. We'll start recording. Stop.